Hey, it's Ariane. Today I'll be doing the mixed girl tag. I am interviewing my girlfriend Bianca, um, and I'll just tell you all about her in a minute. And number two, the second thing that happened to me was in my original mixed girl tag, I had posed the question out to meet a 50-year-old mixed woman who's married with kids, and I actually did, and that was super cool. She was actually 50 on the dot. She was mixed and half black and white, and she came from Germany. So yeah, I just wanted to tell you that it was absolutely cool to meet a older mixed woman, so I'm happy I did. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you all to Bianca. Okay, so yeah, this is my friend Bianca, and I'll be asking her the 10 mixed girl questions. I'm curious to see what she's gonna have to say, what you're gonna say, and yeah, stay tuned.
My mother is Italian. My father is Jamaican. However, his father is mixed with Greek. So my long answer is Italian, Jamaican, and Greek. Sometimes I just simplify it to Italian and Jamaican.
Cool.
Any of the Latin cultures, so Brazilian, Puerto Rican, Dominican, Cuban. Actually, in Cuba, I had a difficult time getting in and out of the country because they thought I was trying to sneak back in. So, yeah, big time mistake. I've also been mistaken for Egyptian, mixed with Arabic. I guess out of the ordinary, there's the Filipino or yeah, they're pretty tiny little curls. Yes and no. I grew up in a suburban community, and out there weren't too many people that looked like me or families that looked like mine. And so, you know, we came across older adults who would say to me and my sister that you guys were a mistake, that, you know, why is all of that happening? That looks really confusing. We've had people not serve our family going to restaurants. Sometimes I get offended with this question because I feel like I should embrace both, you know? The fact that the question almost implies like I should choose a side, and, you know, it shouldn't be the case. I appreciate both sides. I appreciate the Italian side for very different reasons that I appreciate my Jamaican side.
What?
I spent more time with my mom growing up, and so I cook. In terms of my cooking, all of my dishes are Italian. I make pasta, homemade sauce, homemade pasta, a mean lasagna, and some other Italian dishes. In terms of the Jamaican side, I guess, you know, I'm really laid back and kind of easygoing and really spiritual. You know, I don't know. Yeah.
Mixed girl.
I'm a mixed girl.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, I have. You know, I had kids tease me and say I was adopted because when my mom used to pick me up from school and she was white, or she is white, kids really didn't understand why I had a white mom and I'm not white. My mom had a lot of challenges with us, like going across the border. Traveling was a huge ordeal for her, especially back in like the late 80s and early 90s.
You have a sister too,
I have a sister, yeah, and she'd been stopped a few times. There was actually one time when we weren't even allowed to cross the border because they thought that we weren't her kids, despite her having all of the evidence and documentation to prove it. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Have you ever been ashamed for being multiracial?
I wouldn't say that I was ashamed. I just felt that sometimes life was just too complicated, you know? Like, I wish I could just go into a hairdresser and they'd know how to do my hair.
We had your sister too, right? Like, did you guys lean on each other more?
Well, here's the thing about mixed people, and here's the beautiful thing about mixed people, is that even though me and my sister have the exact two same parents, we look entirely different. She's a little darker, and her hair is super long, and her curls are entirely different. And so even though we are of the same family, our experiences are different. I remember she would tell me growing up that a lot of people mistook her for Guyanese or Trinidadian because she was really brown.
Okay.
And her hair was so loose. Like, the curls were so loose.
Yeah.
But anyhow, you know, sometimes I just wish life was a little less complicated. Sometimes I wish that I could just hang out with the black crowd, and for people to not look at me like, well, you're not quite black, so what is this soul sister shit you're talking? The soul sister stuff you're talking, right? Like that, they didn't really understand it. And then when I tried to hang out with my European friends, you know, even though I would tell them I understand Italian, they would, like, their families would still talk to me in English. And it's like, no, I'm telling you, yeah, like, I understand you. Yeah. But it's Bianca, okay, and they would talk to me in English. And it's like, what, is my skin color confusing you? So, yeah, sometimes I wouldn't say ashamed isn't the right word, but definitely it was complicated sometimes, and I just wish for that simplicity that I assumed, you know, monoracial people to have experienced.
Cool.
Yeah.
My family's different. There's so many mixed people in my family. All the black side of my family date white people.
Yeah.
And all the white people date black people.
So my aunts, a few of my aunts only date, they do extremes. You have the ones that only date white men, because my dad was the only male.
Okay.
At least here in Canada. And so he's the only guy, and then all the girls, a couple of them only date white men, and a couple of them only date black men. And like, they're die-hard. I think so, because I think if you grow up understanding that there is a lot of shades of gray, it makes you, I think, a lot more worldly. I think it makes you a lot more open-minded, and a lot more accepting.
What about you? Like, just talking about you.
Oh, okay, sorry.
No, I just want to see,
like, my personal.
Yeah, because like you were saying before, every mixed girl has a different experience. So
right.
What's yours? What do you feel are your benefits of being mixed?
I think
just to
me. Okay, me. Okay, my benefits. It made me more worldly. I guess when I was saying that, I was referring to myself. You know, I have friends from all sorts of backgrounds, whether it be cultural, racial, sexual orientation, religious. I just came up with this, I grew up with this assumption that everybody is different. And I think in some families, but I think with some families, especially families where you are in a community where everyone looks like you and both your parents look like you, I think sometimes you assume that the world looks like you. But when you grow up in a home when your mom doesn't really look like you and your dad doesn't look like you, you're growing up with that assumption that no, people are different. People are very, very different. And so I think it's a beautiful thing that I've been able to accept people from all walks of life.
I always knew I was different growing up.
Yeah. But you know what?
I didn't take it a good way or a bad way. I just was like, well, I'm different, you're different, everybody's
But
different.
that's a great skill to have, because not a lot of people can do that. Right?
Yeah.
Or not a lot of people can look at differences as a beautiful thing. Some people look at differences in a scary way. In a, I don't understand you, I don't want to be near you, right? Kind of way. So I think that's a beautiful thing, that you not only acknowledge it, but you embrace it. Yeah.
She's good, right?
I'm good. I'm a counselor. What can I say?
Question 9. What makes being multiracial a beautiful thing? What makes it a beautiful thing?
I think it's beautiful that we really do differ from each other. We really are individuals, right? Like, we really are.
I haven't met, besides my brother, I don't know anybody mixed that has the same mix as me. I'm sure there's other people out there, but I don't know them.
And I've met a lot of women who have been same mix, Italian, Jamaican, or similar enough, and they look entirely different than me. Their growing up experience was entirely different than mine. And so I think that that's absolutely beautiful, that we all have such different experiences and we can all speak to different things. And, you know, collectively, I think it's important that we have a voice now so we can share these experiences. Because for a long time, it wasn't even acknowledged, right? Yeah. And so the fact that now this channel gives us a space for us to to feel safe.
YouknowAriane.com.
YouknowAriane.com. No, I think that that's beautiful. Like I love it. I love being different. I mean, I am different.
Yeah.
Never mind how I look. I just am. How many people can say that they had Italian and Jamaican culture growing up at the same time?
Yeah.
Right?
You're
Like,
right. That's cool.
it is pretty cool.
Question 10. Any advice to some who struggle with their multiracial identities?
Honestly, everyone. Stop choosing a side.
Yeah.
Just stop. I think that it's ridiculous that we have to conform. I think it's ridiculous that we feel that we need to be boxed in just to make the rest of society comfortable. Right? That's
they
not
don't even like fully accept us.
They don't really accept us.
You know?
They don't accept us. And you know what? That's just inevitable. That's
Yeah.
going to happen. And I think we need to stop making people comfortable and start being ourselves. And I think when we identify with one side because it's easier, when we identify with one side because we get more privileges, I think that then we are going to compromise ourselves, and we're going to compromise our well-being and our happiness and right? Like, we need to just be ourselves. And so if that means that you walk around saying that I am a mixed person and that's it, right? Like,
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Sometimes I don't even tell people. I'm just mixed. Leave me alone.
Right.
Okay.
And that's it.
I don't want to talk to you about my background.
Yeah, right? So embrace who you are, and don't let society dictate who you should identify with, what side
Yeah.
you should identify with. Identify with the side or all the sides or none of the sides.
Yeah.
Right? Like you choose. That's your choice. The other thing I would say is embrace your hair. I think for a long time we have either been ashamed, we've been told that it should look one way. It should
be flat.
It should be
and
flat.
have no frizz.
No frizz. Too much kink. Too coarse.
Make it all one
too
length.
thin. No, embrace it. You know, honestly, Ariane, for most of my childhood, I used to keep my hair back in a bun, tied back, because I was so. It was so uncomfortable for me to walk around with so much, right?
I used to part my hair in the middle.
Me too.
And leave it just down. Or like down low.
I used to,
right down here.
I used to brush gel, so it would be flat right here. And it didn't matter what the back did. I just wanted it to be down. And why?
Why?
Let your hair go big. Let it go curly. Let it go straight. Let it go wavy. Let it
go crazy.
Let it go crazy. You know, embrace it. And the other thing too, I would say, is stop letting people touch you.
Yeah.
Stop letting people exotify you.
I like your skin. Oh,
Yeah, right?
hair.
And so don't let people exotify you. And by exotify, for those who don't really know what I mean, exotify kind of means that don't let people treat you like you are different, right? Like so different. Different to the point where you're uncomfortable,
Yeah.
right? Being in your
it.
skin. You know, sometimes people will come and touch me, like complete strangers.
Over compliment you too.
Right?
It's like you're weird. Like just stop.
I'm not a
human being.
I'm not a zoo animal.
Yeah.
Don't put me in a cage and pet me, because that's kind of what they're doing, right? They're putting you in this cage and making you feel like, wow, you're this weird exotic creature,
And I just want to stare at you.
and I just want to stare at you because I don't understand all of this. And I'm not okay with that. So I think we need to start speaking up and start letting people know that that's not okay. That's actually kind of offensive. And maybe the people who are saying these things to us or touching us, they have no intentions of being offensive, but use those moments as teaching moments, because they're not going to know.
Absolutely. I'm always teaching people stuff.
I teach people shit all the time. I teach people stuff all the time.
Yeah. And I might
All
not
the
go
time.
out and ask them a direct question, but I'll just put like the thought out there.
Yeah.
Like you think about how ignorant you're being.
Yes.
I'm not going to tell you you're being ignorant.
Yes.
But just think about what you just asked.
Right. Oh, and you know what, Ariane, I want to put advice out there to people who aren't mixed, just in case there are people watching who aren't, who don't identify as being of a mixed descent. I know you don't mean any harm in asking us, what's your background? But I just want you to be mindful that chances are you're not the first one to ask us.
You're not.
You're not the first one today to ask us, tomorrow. We get asked that all the time. And sometimes we're really happy to answer that, and other times we're just like, really?
I'm busy.
is that all you see? You don't even want to know my name? The first thing you want to ask is, where are you from? And it's just a little irritating sometimes. So yeah, that's the advice I would give them. And then finally, the last thing I would say is do your research. Do your research to understand where you come from. I think it's important for us to know where we've come from.
You researched both sides of your family, no?
I did do research on both sides of my family. I did a lot of research on my Jamaican side.
What did you do? Did you like go to Jamaica, or did you read books, or call like your Jamaican family, or like?
So I went to an Afrocentric library, and I first wanted to learn about Black culture. So never mind Jamaican or any other ethnicity or culture, but Black culture. Where did we come from? And how did our people from Africa get to where we are, right? So I did that research, and then I learned what tribe my family comes from. So my teeth, I had braces.
She's got straight teeth.
But I used to have a really big gap right in between here, huge gap.
Okay.
And the funny thing is, everyone in my family has this gap. And I did some research, and it turns out that the Maroons, which was a tribe in Jamaica, they're from Western Africa, and they all had the gap. And they were a very strong people.
Yeah.
Very, very strong. And I realized that my Jamaican side of my family are descendants of the Maroon tribe. And so when I learned that, I was able to do all of this research, and I realized that there's actually a Maroon festival in Jamaica, which I've been dying to go to.
Yeah.
So I did that, and then also, especially for those of us who are mixed with white and Black, I think it's important for us to understand the white side. I mean, I learned that Italians have done some really interesting things in their past for me to be as tactful as I can.
Viva Italia.
Viva Italia! But I learned about the history, and I find that if you don't know where you have come from, you don't know where you're going.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, maybe it's as simple as asking family members. For me, it meant a lot more to me for me to really do some research, and I feel a lot more comfortable in my skin because now I have a better understanding of what that means to have half my side of a family being from Italy and half the side being from Jamaica. So do your research, guys. Understand who you are. It's the only way.
This is Bianca.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for chatting with me today.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I'm gonna edit this video. Mixed girl tag. It's for boys too. Mixed girls and boys.
Mwah! I love all of you.
Sweet. Anything else you want to say before I turn it off?
Do you know what? I really would like to hear about men. I want to hear what their experience is like.
Yeah.
I think it would be very different.
I have a brother and his is different.
Very, very different.
I have a lot of brothers, but I have one mixed brother.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'd like to hear what the biracial man or multiracial man, I'd like to hear your thoughts. I mean, maybe for you it's a lot easier. Maybe not, you know? I'd be really interested to hear about that. For like elderly people. So there was this other elder couple. It was the wife visiting her husband, and so we were all talking, and he's like, "These are my granddaughters, Bianca. Their father is Black, but it's okay. It's okay because they're nice. They come out nice. Very beautiful girls. It's okay." And I'm like, no, what do you mean it's okay?
He's trying to make them understand.
He's trying to make them understand, but it's ignorant, right? Like,
No,
their
he
father
means
is
it
Black,
with love.
but they're okay.
You may not understand, so let me tell you. I love that. Oh, he means it with such heart.
He does.